At the beginning of this year, I was lucky enough to take a family vacation to Long Island, New York to visit my dad's side of the family. On that trip, it was mostly rainy and cloudy and overcast, but on the day it cleared up, we took a nice walk along the sandy beaches there and toured a lighthouse. And when I returned to San Diego, I wanted to kind of make a comparison of the two coastlines, and because these two places are so significant to me, I wanted to capture it using a camera that I only use when I want to take very meaningful pictures, and that is my Mamiya 645. That I take with this camera are significant to me, not only for the resolution and quality that this camera produces, but honestly for the price of every picture you take. Even though it is 645 and you get 15 shots per roll versus the 6x7 10-ish shots per roll, that's still, with these current market prices, $1 per shot at least. And then if you send it out to a lab, it's another $1 or so per shot to develop. So every single shutter click is a few dollars leaving your bank account. You really take the time to set your exposure and composition to exactly how you want it so that the photo you take is perfect. I think the shooting experience with this camera is what also makes it so special to me. It's no frills, it's just the aspects of photography that you really want to think about, and you're not worrying about any other extra things. You're only worrying about your composition and your exposure. As part of that shooting experience, the ergonomics of this camera are perfect. It's small enough to fit in your hand, it's heavy enough to feel the quality of the product, it's straightforward and to the point. It's honestly, I think, the perfect medium for cameras. It's not too big like its older brother, the RB or the RZ67. It's not too small like my Rollei 35 or anything like that. It's the perfect in between, and not to mention it has one of the best shutter sounds of any camera on the market. I mean, come on. So every shot is satisfying, not only to take, but to compose and set up, and the whole process gives you a new appreciation for photography. The Mamiya 645 has one of, if not the best, analog experiences I've ever had with a film camera. It shoots 120 film, it's medium format. All of the dials and settings are adjusted outside the camera. Aperture ring is on the lens, shutter dial is on the side of the body here, and focusing is all done through the waist level viewfinder, and it has this really cool magnifying glass feature that you press on the side here so that you can get your exact focus when you need it, and then it just folds away. I use this camera as my specialty camera. I have my everyday film photography camera as my Rolly 35. I have my everyday digital as my Fuji X100V. But when I want to take a real special photo, I use this camera. Or when I make a plan to hang out with people that I care about or a place that I really care about, I use this camera. And I think that adds to the experience. Like, selecting a camera to be your special event camera kind of puts it on this shelf, and maybe it gives me bias on why I like this camera so much, but there's a reason for it. It produces images that I love in moments that I need it to produce images that I love. Amazing as this camera is, there are some downsides. The shutter speed only goes up to a 500th of a second, so if you're in really harsh lighting, you have to make sure that you have ND filters or something to compensate for that. Additionally, it's nearly impossible to take portraits using the waist level viewfinder. It's also can be pretty difficult to get used to the waist level viewfinder at times because of its inverted orientation using the mirrors, but a remedy to all those solutions is this. This is a more traditional viewfinder that can be used on the Mamiya 645. It has a built-in light meter, which you can set your ISO here, and on the inside it'll give you a reading of your exposure. You used to have it as a shutter speed dial to link with your camera when you have it all connected, and it's a perfect replacement for those instances, though it's not as fun as shooting with the waist level finder. Unfortunate small thing about this camera specifically, it does have a light leak. You'll notice in some of the pictures in this video that there's a white splash of light in the middle of the frame that shows up every once in a while, which is unfortunate, but it does add character to those images and it gives it an authenticity to the photo, though I do plan on fixing the light leak later. f2.8 Mamiya Secor lens. It's the lens that came with the camera when I bought it, but it's incredibly sharp. It's a great focal length. It's not too tight. It's not too zoomed out, and I think it's more than enough for any photographer using this camera. It's incredibly sharp. I love the colors and images that I produce with it, and I couldn't be happier with a lens for this system. It's also incredibly compact. As you can see, it's only an inch or two from the body, and it keeps the whole form factor of this camera in the perfect. With this camera, I love the images it takes. I think it's the perfect form factor for everyday, everywhere use. I really appreciate the nature in which I take photos with this camera. I think it's a really great starting point for someone looking to get into medium format photography, or even someone who's a pro and been shooting for a long time looking just for a second camera. I think it's a better option than even the RZ or the RB67 just on form factor alone. In addition, you get more shots per roll. I really think this is a nearly perfect film camera. I think the only thing that would make it better is if you got the 645 1000S, where the shutter speed goes up to a thousandth of a second, and I think that would be the perfect camera to own and to use. I wanted to say thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the photos. I'm working on a website to put them all up, maybe sell some prints. If you're interested, let me know. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.